Hello everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to Flossmas Day 10. I cannot believe that we are now officially 2 weeks until Christmas Eve, and that means that in 2 weeks I will be picking the last chart from my Advent chart that I've been picking charts from because it ends on the 24th, so we've only got 2 more weeks of charts in here. The video today is going to be kind of short because I only worked on 2 cross-stitch projects yesterday, and then I did do knitting, which I have a knitting finish. But yesterday, 2 out of 3 of my kids are sick, so it's kind of thrown off the plans for the weekend. But the first thing that I worked on yesterday was my Advent ornament from thathowtogirl on Etsy, and here is where it is now. I think we can now officially say that this is looking like a cup because the one I'm doing is called Holiday Treats. So it's going to be some sort of holiday, related things that you consume. And so this is looking like a cup. It looks like there's a little handle here, which I did yesterday. I think that was what I did yesterday. And so today I will stitch on day 10 and see what that adds to the chart. And then the other thing that I worked on yesterday was the chart that was picked from the Advent calendar, which was the Festive Frosted Pumpkin Cottage from Witchy Stitcher. And here is where I am on this now. I focused on filling in the black on the tree here. So this tree, all the black is done. There is still more things to do on the tree because there's a lot of like snow and stuff that needs to be stitched onto the tree, but I'm saving that until there's other stuff filled in because I want to have more spots to like fill. When I end the thread on the back, I run it underneath stitches, and the white needs more areas filled in to be able to like anchor those stitches down. So there is where I got to. And then I also stitched a little bit more on the house here, and I started in on this tree here because there's going to be another tree on the other side of the chart. This is being stitched on 28 count fabric from Crossed Wing Collection in the color Deep Sea. And I'm loving this. It's so cute, and I think I'm already at like 40% because this is kind of a smaller chart. I think the total thing is only like 7,000 stitches, so it's smaller compared to everything else that I'm working on. And then I will pick my chart for today, which today is day 10. And today's chart is Sailor Moon, so I need to go grab her and then I can show you where I'm at starting on her. Alright, so Sailor Moon is a chart from Tilton Crafts. It might be retired, the one that I'm stitching, but I know that they do have other Sailor Moon charts available, so if the one I'm stitching on isn't retired, it will be linked in the description box because I always try and link the charts that I show in the videos, and otherwise I'll just link to Tilton Crafts website if it is discontinued. So there is a lot of fabric on this. Here is where I am so far on Sailor Moon. I started in the middle of this chart because I wanted to be able to start with the actual Sailor Moon and not be starting on background because this chart has a ton of background. I actually cropped off some of the top and the bottom of the chart where there's just like the blue and like purpley colors and stuff because I did not want to stitch all of that background. So I cropped it off so it's more like at the top of their heads and then at the bottom of their feet, and I'm not stitching all the extra because this is a very large chart. I think it's over 400,000 stitches, and that is a lot because if you figure my stitching for the year, I've stitched under 200,000 stitches this year. I think I am right at 168,000 stitches for the year. So you figure if I were to stitch this whole entire chart, that's over 400,000 stitches. It would take me a few years to stitch it, whereas if I can crop off some of the background, it will take me, maybe it'll cut off like, half a year of stitching. I don't know. So this is being stitched on 28 count 2/1 tent stitch, and I will just keep stitching on Sailor Moon to try and get her filled in a little bit more. Alright, and then I will show my knitting. So yesterday it actually snowed like the tiniest little amount. I might insert a video if I can figure it out. It was like the tiniest little amount, and it started raining like right afterwards because it wasn't that cold. But because of that, I decided I needed to work on my hat that I was knitting, which the hat that I was making was the Musselburgh hat from Isolde Teague, I think, and I finished it. So here is where it is. I started this in September. It's still kind of wet right now, so I'm not gonna like put it on my head because it's wet and I don't want that on my head. So the way you knit this hat is you start at the top and you start with only like 4 stitches. You do increases and then you knit a really, really long tube, which this looks ridiculously long, I'm aware, but I did try it on yesterday before I washed it, and it does fit. And then when you get to the bottom, you start doing decreases to make another like little head shape. And then the way this hat works is you fold it, if I can manage to do this right now. You take one end and then you stick it inside the other end, like so, and then you have your hat. But like I said, it's kind of wet, so it's not really cooperating that well. And then you fold it so you have a brim. Like I said, it's wet, so it's not looking the best right now. But you fold it and then you have a hat that's double layer, and then with the brim it makes it so that that area that's folded over is 4 layers, so it's a very nice thick hat. And it's also a really customizable hat because they give you I'm trying to think of the way to explain it. You can use any yarn, you can use any size knitting needles that you want to get the yarn to look the way that you want, and then you just start knitting it, and then it has a gauge chart, so then you just look at how many stitches you have per inch or whatever, and then it tells you how much you need to knit for that. So you can use any yarn, you can use any needles, and then it will tell you how to make this hat basically. So it's really nice because you can use any yarn that's in your stash, whereas with other hats you're like, oh, I only have fingering and this requires this yarn or whatever. No, you can use anything, so it's great. The yarn that I used is a discontinued yarn. It's from Leon Alexander in the color Calligraphy, and it's done, which, like I said, it's wet, so I want to put it down. There we go. So that's all that I did yesterday, and now I kind of feel like I need to have a new knitting start because I don't have any knitting projects right now, because I try and keep my knitting projects to just being one at a time, and so I don't get overwhelmed and lost. So that is all. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully I will be able to get more cross-stitching stuff done today, but it depends on if anyone else gets sick, because like I said, we're dropping like flies here. We got 2 out of 3 sick. So thank you everyone for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you for day 11. Bye.